Hello.
Hi.
So welcome to this slide cast. We're going to take you through a social media workshop today. My name is Tobias Gould. I'm a Business Innovation Fellow from the University of Leicester.
And I'm Elliott. I'm a design strategist and part of the Help to Grow team.
Fantastic.
Okay, so we're going to start today with explaining the answer to this question: why have a social media strategy? Now, these thoughts that you'll see on screen are taken from my personal lived experience as an entrepreneur and growing businesses using social media strategy. So some of you may be in marketing or digital or social agencies and know far much more about the intricacies and the whys and wherefores of social media. But this is a real life case study of why I think you should have a social media strategy.
And there's going to be loads of top tips for you as we go through actionable things that you can do.
So keep your ears open. We will try and explain as best we can in this short video. So the first reason that I want to bring up of why you should have a social media strategy is an idea that at any one point, anybody in your target market, your total addressable market, are either in and out of market. Now, there have been some research recently, the latest version of which I've seen says at any one point 81% of people are out of market, even though they fit the demographic and the right customer profile for you. They don't have the intention or the need to buy, right? So social media allows you to stay front of mind with these people who are out of market. So when they become in market, when they have the opportunity and the desire to buy, you're already one of the people who are in there as an option. And obviously the people who are ready, who are in market, you can tell and engage them straight away by answering the questions, being visible on there when they're searching for answers to frequently asked questions that we all get in no matter what industry they are. But social media is such a great platform and a great series of channels to be present, to do this work, this engagement work, no matter where people are in your community, to keep front of mind with them. And that kind of rolls into the second point, actually. So there's a marketing theory by Les Binet and Peter Field, who have wrote a book as well as a study called The Long and the Short of It. Now, let me explain what that means and how it relates to the in and out of market. So this study, this piece of research, is down to marketing effectiveness, right? And we all know when we spend marketing time and energy and money, right, we want it to be as effective as possible. But they surveyed just under, I think, 200,000 businesses around the UK, various size, various industries, to find out what was most effective in marketing their brands, right? And they discovered there were two broad categories of activity related to marketing that are fundamental for social media. The long-term brand awareness, and short is short-term sales activations or targeted campaigns, right? And you need a recipe or a percentage of both of those activities running simultaneous to be most effective. So these two guys found out and surveyed all of these people, all of these companies, and they came up with a general figure of effectiveness. So where you should spend time and energy compared to the other. And they said you should spend 60% of your time, energy, and budget on long-term brand awareness activities. So this is the stuff that will be of interest and educating and informing those out of market people, because long-term brand awareness is super valuable to your marketing effectiveness, it just pays off in the future. And that is supported because we can't all wait for these people to come in market, right? We have to generate revenue and sales and leads and inquiries now. This comes with the short of it. So the short sales activations, right, are there to reach the in-market people, the people who are looking now, and they're very action-orientated, but it's a use of social media that's very different. Not so much long-term content, organic content, long-form content, but much more using the advertising platforms, the direct response type messaging. So you need the long and the short of it to reach the in and out of market people. And social media is one of the easiest and most effective ways of managing these two types of content without much time and energy expenditure. One of my favorites, though, is this phrase: your net worth is your network. And it comes from my first boss, Mr. Frank Miller. If you're watching this, hat tip to you, who at a ripe old, how old was I? 19, I think, said your net worth is in your network. Business is built on relationships. And that has stuck with me for the 27 years since he told me about that. And social media is just a great way to connect with other people, to maintain a business relationship or a network or communication between people that you might not bump into very often in your day-to-day work, right? So to grow your network, to cultivate and choose your audience, right? The people you choose to engage with is such a brilliant use of social media strategy. The next part ties in to marketing theory as well. So there's a big focus in any marketing theory, any marketing strategy that you said about differentiation. Now, differentiation comes in two varieties: differentiation itself, which is your points of difference compared to those who meet the same need of the people you're trying to serve, and distinctiveness, right? So distinctiveness is how memorable are you, right? Your visibility. What do people remember about your brand, about your business, about your proposition that you can utilize, that you can distribute through social media strategy? Is it a logo? Is it a set of brand colors? Is it some sort of messaging, a format maybe of a weekly YouTube business journal or letter from the CEO posted on media? Like this sort of thing makes you memorable, right? And social media, because we know a vast majority of your market is out of market at any one time, and we know long-term brand awareness has been proven to be most effective as a marketing tactic, you need to be visible, right? You need this visibility because there's a lot of people using social media. It's noisy out there. So the more memorable you are, the more on brand, the more differentiated you appear, whether it's on your proposition, whether you've cultivated a good network. It's an amazing opportunity to be visible and memorable. And the last one is slightly different. So not so much about proactive marketing activity, but the discovery of new opportunities. Now, if you're watching this and you're a small or medium business, being aware and open to discover new business opportunities, new partnerships, new customer routes, new collaborations together, new opportunities to co-create a proposition or to find a new kind of need that your product or service or experience meets for the people you choose to serve is super important. You have to have yourself or some of your team able to do that. And the great thing about social media is if people have a question, if people are wondering what people think about a situation or looking for a solution, they ask people via their social media. This happens all the time. And yes, there is a lot of nonsense through that you'll do, but the beauty of social media channels, whatever you use, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, is that they all come with their own search engine at the top. There's always a search bar at the top. So you can be intentional and strategic about your social media strategy and put out time to search what people might be asking about your industry. Maybe the latest development, maybe the latest trend in product or service within your industry. Like, type that word in there, much as you would on Google, right? And see what conversations are happening in real time in the feeds, and you will discover opportunities. I've done this no end of time for people asking kind of strategic, people-centered questions, marketing comms questions, right? When a new channel or a new format or a new thing comes out, people always ask, how are you using this? Has anybody had any good things to say? Does anybody know any good case studies about who's doing this well? Has anybody used this person before? These are all opportunities to have a conversation, right? And it builds your net worth within your network, your viability. But these are all good ingredients, right? They're good reasons why I think you should have a social media strategy. It's how I view the social media strategy in building the businesses that I've run before. But they come down to one biggest one, really, and that's personal brand. Now, you may have heard the phrase personal brand, right? So I'll quickly explain what a personal brand is, right? Everybody has a personal brand. So an individual brand, even if you're representing a company like the University of Leicester, as we are today, people buy from people. They understand that you represent this person, but what do you stand for? Why should I build a business relationship with you? People don't have business relationships with logos. They have business relationships with the people within it. So everyone, including you guys, have a personal brand, right? And it's not a question of if you have one, if you choose to have one. You definitely have one, but it's how you choose to use it, like how you intentionally and strategically think about your personal brand to deliver whatever you need from social media. It might be leads, it might be awareness, as we've said, it might be cultivating or staying in touch with customers or industry insights and important, like, innovators and drivers, so you can share the latest news with your customers. Whatever it is, you can choose intentionally to use personal branding for that. Now, the great idea with your personal brand, with your personal profile, is you can optimize it for search, right? So the more good quality specific information you have in your social media profiles that you want to be found for, very much like your website. I'm sure all of you have got a website and looked at SEO. This is the same thing, right? You can optimize it to be found when people are looking for people like you. Also, having a good personal brand and a profile builds credibility. As I said, there's a lot of people doing networking online, a lot of people that you'll meet in conferences and events in real life, right? So when they check you out, they will search for you, maybe on LinkedIn, maybe on Twitter, maybe on Google, and your personal profiles will come up if they search you by name, right? So you want that first impression to be really credible. So you can put everything on there, like a dynamic business card, right, that confirms that you're the right person they should be looking for. Also, I mentioned it a second ago, people buy from people. This is another golden nugget from Frank Miller. Thanks, Frank. Because, as I said earlier, like, people don't have business relationships with brands. Like, they think the brand is quite unimportant in the grand scale of things, but they do have business relationship with the individuals in it. And people buy from people is one of those phrases that has been knocking around for the decades I've been in the business scene. So it's important that you optimize your personal profile to do a lot of that work for you, to position you how you want to be seen, what you want to be known for in the market. Also, to bring in a bit of research, research that's been ongoing. You can find lots of these by Googling on Statista, and various other. Social Mention has a lot of data on this sort of thing. But people who analyze digital interactions and social interactions see that the most popular, the most engaged, the most responsive accounts are higher with human faces than brands. Like people like people's faces, not logos. Right, so you can build trust and engagement, and people find it more trustworthy and engaging if an individual is speaking about how great a product or service is than the brand who makes the product or service. That's very much where influencers come from today. Right, that's why they're a thing, because they trust what other people, other individuals say about a thing. Now, we won't get into the world of influencers today, or focus on any other channels, because as you're primarily businesses, we think there's one home that you should focus on, and that is LinkedIn, to build your personal brand. Now I do that. So we are going to look at some amazing examples, actually, of LinkedIn profiles that use the platform, because you can listen to us if you want to, but to look how people who are really successful on the channel are doing it, and see what you can glean and you can do for your profile is more useful. So I'm going to run quickly through this list of top tips for LinkedIn profile and personal branding optimization. And then we'll jump into LinkedIn itself and have a quick look for you. So if you imagine, if you're looking at LinkedIn on another screen from here, from the top of your page, right, your cover photo is prime real estate. When people find your profile on LinkedIn, this is the first thing they see, right? So you can use it in a couple of ways. You can brand it so it consistently represents your brand and you become distinctive and memorable, or you can use it, as I do, to promote the thing that you want to be seen for now, like an offer or an upcoming event or some kind of promotion that you want to be known for, right? And you can change it. So if you're specifically focused on delivering a new launching a new product and service, maybe your header is that rather than your company or normal proposition. You can make your profile picture pop, so be recognizable, right? So this is part of that visibility and memorable stuff. Have a good clear photo of your face, and people can attach the meaning of what you offer to that person, that individual. There's also some pieces of content under there. There's a headline and an about you section. All this goes into the bit of text that you have about you, right? It's your opportunity to tell the LinkedIn search people and the little automation gremlins that decide where you will end up in that, and real people, what it is you do, why it's important, and why they should care about it too. The first few lines is a hook. People love bullet points and personality, and it's not a CV, but we'll show you some real good examples of that at the moment. Also, LinkedIn builds credibility. We've mentioned credibility before, so I won't explain what that is, but LinkedIn gives you personal recommendations, any awards, any accolades, any courses you've done, anything that will prove what you say is true about how good you are at the thing you do. There's an ability on LinkedIn to feature it, right? So if you're, again, really proud of a post, or you've written a new blog article that you want to be seen at the top. You can pin certain number of articles at the top of your profile. So again, it gets more visibility. When people visit your profile, it's more likely that they see these, because we Western people read top to bottom. Also, it shows your experience. Now, your experience bit is about the roles you hold now and the roles you've held in the past. But it's about your roles at the brands, not what the brand does. This is your personal profile. Again, show your recommendations, skills, courses, awards, get it on there. This is your opportunity to display all that good stuff that you've achieved in your life. And then there's content. So I think alongside they should have a worksheet, right?
When you've had this the email with this slide cast, you will also have a blank social media strategy plan, and we'll come on to the worksheet in a minute.
Sure.
So the plan, and we'll probably do another video on this in a bit, gets you to think about what are your goals, what do you want to be saying, what do you want to be known for, and it helps you organize your content in terms of what are the topics that you are allowed to talk about, and it gives you a chance to put in some examples of what you're going to be talking about. And that social media plan becomes a briefing tool, either to yourself or to someone else who's going to be pumping out your social media content for you. So we'll give you some more information about that plan shortly.
Awesome. So we're going to come into now the LinkedIn profiles. So bear with me as I just swap between a few. Let me drop these messages down. You don't need to see any of that. So our first option is this gentleman, Timothy Armu. He's a young entrepreneur, Forbes under 30 under 30 co-founder. As you can see, he's used all the features that we've talked about. So the bar, where you can see my mouse at the top says entrepreneur, speaker, host. This is his brand headline, right? This is the first bit of real estate, and it supports and clarifies all of the things that we've said. It's got as seen on Forbes, Business Insider, and Bloomberg. It's got his picture on it. He's got what he does now, the 25-year-old of fan bites, what his proposition as somebody is. You've got a great clear picture of Tim there. As you can see, he's got again a headline of what he wants to be that echoes the top from there. He's using, these are featured posts, so these are PR press releases that he's used, thought leadership items that are cemented and pinned at the top of his profile. So when you visit his profile, you see the things that he wants you to see first before being able to check out his activity, like what's going on right now with Tim. There's an about us here, which is a short thing from there, which is a small description of what he does, and then you can get into the experience, education, skills, and such like that. But let's move on. This lady is Leah Turner. Hers is an amazing LinkedIn platform, as you would fully expect, because she seems to do LinkedIn training. But as you can see at the top, again, she's used a different color background to really make her image contrast and stand out. You've got a brand colors at the top. She's got a proposition of making LinkedIn simple and fun. You've got a headline that echoes this and shows some personality, right? Leah's got full of personality. She's covered in tattoos. She's from, I think she's from up north in Manchester, and she's got a really good personality, and it echoes there in a headline that makes her stand out. If Carlsberg made LinkedIn trainers, because we all know the Carlsberg advert, right? And then a real simple proposition, making LinkedIn simple, corporate group training, digital course speaker. Again, real good use of brand imagery and featured links. She's got a couple of links that will take you to another website, and she's got posts that she wants you to highlight and read, which are client testimonials and case studies. Again, her activity is really good, like and super busy. I'll just scoot through these. As you can see, this is her about page. She makes it really clear what she provides by using emojis on there. She's got a really good opening gambit, which unless you click in it, this will do the job of explaining who you are and what you need to do. And then the rest of it comes down from there. So we've got loads of really good recommendations that she's highlighted in the post before. Another guy on the name is Bertie Cordingley. As you can see, a really good use of the first real estate, the header, right? He's a straight talking business coach. He adds rocket fuel so you can get your SH done, which some people need to do. This is his personality. It might not be your personality, but this is part of his differentiation and distinctiveness. If people want a traditional formal sounding business coach, Bertie is probably not the one that you pick. But if you want a real guy to give you straightforward, maybe a little bit sweary business coach advice, I'm allowed to say that because I know Bertie in real life. Hi, Bertie. This is the guy for you. So he got a great proposition. He coaches owners to fall back in love with their business, because we've all been at points in our business where it's become, you know, let's say a grind for a more purpose. And he helps you get it, you know, automate stuff and get back into things that to make you love your business, which is important. He's got one featured post, which is Random Rants. So this is his email subscription. His business is very geared on selling to his list and email subscription. So this is his focus there, which is an interesting proposition. Again, you can see a really good about section that you've gone from there without having to click down. You know exactly what he does. So another really good example, a slightly different, slightly more formal corporate version. This is Cull. You may have seen that was a video, which is a great example as well. But Cull is a leadership guy. He's really well known. He's ex-police force for leadership development and people development and things like that within organizations. He does a lot of public speaking and workshops and talks as well. But really nice version, like professional imagery. He's got a great number of items that he does on here. He's got his featured articles. There's a couple of links that aren't showing through there at the moment, which may be our connection. Apologies for that. And then a really credible about us page, but you start to get the picture. This one, somebody you know about, isn't it?
Yes, so Janet Murray, this comes from a different perspective. Janet was a deputy editor of education at The Guardian, and the way she structured her LinkedIn post gives you tips that help you get seen by journalists. So in a very similar way to some of those other great examples of LinkedIn pages that you've seen, she's very much a personal brand. But her view is to imagine the journalist's perspective. They've got a feature that they're trying to fill on the TV or radio, or an article that they're trying to write. It's 11 o'clock at night. They find you, they discover you through LinkedIn. Your page needs to show them really quickly who you are, what you're about, and how they can get in contact with you. So imagining that scenario of the journalist in a tight spot, if you look at Janet's profile, you can see some great tips for making yourself instantly recognizable to journalists.
So that's great. There's it. We'll include some of these links below wherever you receive this, so you can check them out. But now you know what to look for in terms of LinkedIn profile. Again, they'll be on these slides, which you can see and probably have attached anyway, just as a bullet point of how you can optimize your LinkedIn profile. It doesn't take long. It's super simple. You don't have to be a technical whiz, but the power of understanding your personal brand and optimizing it on LinkedIn, and then doing the same job on what other channels that you use, other social channels that you may inhabit and want to build from a business perspective, because LinkedIn is not the only one. You can take some of these good personal branding tips over to other channels and append it to the right feature within those channels. So we've looked at 5 great profiles: Janet, Cole, Bertie, Liam, and Tim Armu. In case you didn't get the links from there, you can Google them on there. But we thought it would be a good idea and a good opportunity to give you a bit of homework or office work, depending where you're watching this. Do you want to explain the task?
So you've got a task to do. You'll have a worksheet that came with these slides. The worksheet's very simple. It's 1 page and it's structured for you. So job number 1 is to define your ideal customer. Just choose either your best customer or a type of customer that you really want. Write that up the top of the sheet and stick with it. It's better to have a LinkedIn profile or personal brand that's aimed at one customer that really absolutely looks after that customer than having one that's aimed at everybody. So that's why we're doing this with the task. So choose a customer, stick with it. Job number 2 is to observe your customer, and on your worksheet, you've got a range of questions to help you think about your customer and observe them from a distance, to think about the tasks that your customer has to do in a given day. And out of all of those tasks, when things go well, what puts a smile on their face, what makes them happy? And when things go badly, you know, what are the sources of pains? This stops you thinking about your customer as a customer and starts to help you think about your customer as a human being who is choosing with their time where they go, what they look at, and what they read. So you are tuning in to your customer as a human, and then your job is to make them happy. So task number 3 on the worksheet is to look at your profile and redesign it to make that single customer happy. So you can make changes to your headline. You can have a think about what should be in your banner. You can have a think about what is the thing that you need to be known for and instantly recognizable for to make that customer happy. You've got a choice of whether you go right onto LinkedIn and make all those changes straight away live onto LinkedIn, or you can just write a list of the improvements that you'd make to your profile to make that customer happy.
Brilliant.
So now we have a time warp. You're going to go away and do that task and then come back, and linked to it is the next slide. And we talked about discovery at the beginning, and you talked about Tim being open to discovery.
Yeah.
And this is a really nice diagram that comes from some work that I've done around search engine optimization and SEO. And it shows really simply that there's often a really big difference between what businesses decide they want to be known for, and they're thinking in terms of what they sell, and they pump out a whole load of content in line with what they want to be known for. And then their customer is searching for a whole load of things to meet their needs. And the direction of travel of what you're pumping out about what you want to be known for doesn't always intersect with what the customer's looking for. So as you go through this process, it's really important to come back to your customer, realize that it's not about you, it's not about your business, it's not about what you sell, it's actually about what is your customer looking for online, what they might find interesting or useful. And the goal, of course, is to line up those two bits of broadcasting so that what you want to be known for is in line with what your customer is searching for.
Yeah.
And that's the big takeaway from today.
That's the big one at the end. It's like we've mentioned the word proposition. You may have heard that before that comes through, but it's the more resonant your content becomes with your audience, right? The more you make that match, the easier it will be. And social media is a great way to distribute content, to distribute your message, but also, like we said, to discover or listen what your customer is ideally searching for. So you probably know now your favorite 3 customers that you've got. Go have a look what they're putting out on social media. See what they're searching for. See what they're posting about. What questions have they asked in the last few weeks that you might be able to glean whether you should be the guy who is answering that. It's super interesting to use social media strategically and intentionally rather than just as a distribution platform.
And even when you tailor your content to absolutely one customer, humans are chaotic and people will find you and discover you and they'll repurpose you and find you for things that are interesting to them. So no matter what, people will find you as long as you do a great job of pumping out the content that your target market will be interested in. I think the last slide, which is the questions bit, is still really relevant because, well, this is the kind of next steps and any questions. Go online. You're making all these changes to your LinkedIn profile. Get in touch with myself and Tim on LinkedIn, because there's another rule that I really like with social media, which is that you should spend half the time, the same amount of time, half the time of pumping out content as engaging with other people's content.
Yes.
So find us, engage with our content, ask us questions. We will interact with you. Interacting with real people online and creating conversations is nearly always the best content.
That's it. That's it. I've had that very rule myself. Is the rule of 3? I call it in my own head. Is that even if I don't post content every day, and I don't by a long way post content every day, I do go on and I try and reply or respond or comment on at least 3 people on all of the channels I inhabit, which is primarily LinkedIn and Instagram today. But just to start those conversations, because they're more valuable for me to start a conversation, to be part of a conversation, than to try and share a piece of content or thought of it, because, you know, your net worth is in your network. Everybody's in the people business, and it's the relationships I'm after, not necessarily the thought leadership content creation side. But that's our thoughts of social media strategy. They're from our view and our usage of social media, so not full of super technical tips and hints of how to get the best engagement and stuff, but there's a lot of that content out there. But this is our case, our synopsis of social media. But we're happy to carry on the conversation wherever you are. But I think we're about there, right?
That's it. So we hope you've enjoyed it. Let us know how it goes with making the changes. Get in touch. Speak soon.
Thank you, and goodbye.